Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are going to play, I think, the last round of the TBR jar for 2023, because normally I have June and December off from playing the game. Those are my 2 months where I don't tend to have a set TBR. I just like to have like a bit of a mood read month, but I'm not sure, considering I haven't really played it for the last few months in the proper format. I'm wondering if I might do December. That's something for future me to decide, but I think this will be the last one of the year. Next year we'll be doing something really fun for the TBR game. My best friend and I have purchased something that we think is going to be really fun, so I'm really excited to trial that when it arrives and share with you all later in the year what we're actually going to do for 2024. But for now, this is what we have. We have a jar, we have a label, we have prompts, and essentially I pull out 5 prompts each month, and it is simply a way to guide my TBR. I don't mood read very well. I tend to like structure in all my things in life, and reading is one of them as well. So I have this jar for prompts to guide what I will pick up and read. And I've already put up my theme for November. It is Caraval, and you would have seen this page here. I am participating in 2 readathons, and you can still see that it's incredibly blank. I do have the prompts now for this, but these are not being released until November, so essentially these won't affect my TBR. I really can't plan for them in advance. I can for this one a little bit, but I'm going to try and work the prompts to match this one as well. And like I said, don't know what these are going to be, so I've left it blank for now. We're not going to let that affect how we play the game. Hopefully what I pull out of the jar can also double up and be used for those prompts in the readathon. I'm not sure. I will let you know how that goes in the month. I'm just going to find a clip to hold this down. Where are we? Here's one. Okay, there we go. So we've got our prompt list here. We've got our 5 spots. I did complete the TBR jar the last time I fully played it, and the games that I've been doing recently with the readathon and the 3 prompts I've completed as well, so I don't need to take up a punishment. If you're new here, there is sort of a punishment rule. Well, if I don't finish the 5 prompts that I pick out the month beforehand, I pick up an extra one and it becomes 6. But we've only got the 5. I'm going to stick this over to the side like so. It's one of those days where it's really cold outside, but I've had the heater going so I get hot, but then I've turned the heater off to film this and I keep having to roll my sleeves up and down because I keep getting hot. Anyway, we're going to go straight into the game. Ooh, that is not one. I did not pick that. And we'll just grab 5 prompts out. So the first prompt is going to be library borrow. Perfect. We all know that I have been very much so into my audiobooks lately. Second prompt is going to be a retelling. Ooh, okay. Third prompt is going to be this one here. Author from Australia. Oh no, I've already done that this year and I didn't really enjoy doing that. Okay, we'll have to find an author from Australia. Then we're going to have prompt number 4, which is, when I grab it, magic realism. And then, oh, I'm going to grab the last prompt. Please be a good one. This one here. A romance. Perfect. So here's our prompts, and now I'm going to go pick some books. Wish me luck, because a couple of these I don't know if I'm going to be able to fulfill. So let me see what I've got in stock. Okay, so I found some books for these prompts. Obviously for Library Borrow, I'm just going to go with whatever I have on my Libby account. I have quite a few books on there right now, so I'll definitely be able to fulfill this prompt. I'm thinking it might be this Woven Kingdom because I do have to return that soon. I actually have a copy of that. One second. So I do have a physical copy of the book, but I just found it as an audiobook on there, and I know that I'll read it faster that way. And this is an author that I didn't have great fun reading the first book in the 𝓤𝓲 series from. I found it not to my taste. So this will be my second attempt with this author. I really love the cover of this book, and I've heard some good things about this story, and it's a different type of fantasy. So I am not huge on dystopia, dystopian, which is what 𝓤𝓲 is, so perhaps this one will be more for me. I'm actually not sure what it's about entirely. Let's look at the back here. To the world, 𝓬𝓲𝓭, I hope I'm saying that right, or 𝓬𝓲𝓭, is a disposable servant never to be known for who she really is, the long-lost heir to the ancient Jinn kingdom. Well, instantly I'm already interested. She is hunted always, forced to hide in plain sight, lest she expose herself to danger, until one day she makes a mistake. And there's prophecies involved. Yeah, this sounds really cool. It says It says down here, this Woven Kingdom is a story of clashing empires, forbidden romance, and a long-forgotten queen who must claw her way through darkness to reclaim her throne, rebuild her kingdom, and save her people from the half-lives they've been forced to live. So, yeah, that sounds way better than 𝓤𝓲 to me. So hopefully I'll enjoy this one, and it's just that I wasn't the right reader for the other series by this author. So I'll probably use that as my Library Borrow, but don't hold me to it. Who knows what will be the next one. The next one is a retelling, and I'm going with The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie-O. This is a Korean folklore or folk story, and is the retelling of the tale of 𝓤𝓻. And this, in the original story, the dutiful daughter sacrifices herself to the sea god to help her blind father regain his sight, only to be rewarded for her selflessness and returned to land. And this one is similar. So in this one it says here that each year a maiden is thrown into the sea in hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen to end the suffering of the deadly storms that are ravaging 𝓤𝓲's homeland, because they all believe in the sea god, and they believe that is now cursing them with death and despair. And they believe 𝓤𝓻 to be the legendary true bride, but on the night she is to be sacrificed, 𝓤𝓲's brother follows her. Knowing to interfere is a death sentence. To save her brother, 𝓤𝓲 throws herself into the water instead, and she is swept away to a spirit realm. I've heard mixed reviews about this. This is why it's still been sitting on my shelf. It's an absolutely stunning book. Absolutely stunning. But I've heard that for some people it didn't hit the spot, and then for others they've really enjoyed it. So I have a really big interest in Korean history and their mythology and all that, so I think this will be really interesting to pick up. I've read a lot of Chinese legends and other East Asian legends, so it'd be nice to finally have a Korean one to read about. And Axie-O wrote a book that I enjoyed, so hopefully it'll be the same with this one. The next book is going to be for the author from Australia. Lynette Noni is an Australian author, and I happen to have this omnibus sitting on my shelf, and I'm just going to read the first book in it. It is portioned off. Where are we? Here we go. So we've got the second book here, first book here, and I'm just going to class this first part because it's actually only 229 pages, and then when you go into weapon it restarts again. The number down the bottom has gone back, so it's not actually one full book. It's just got both of them in it. So I'm going to read Whisper. I have no idea about what it's about. I think it's a sci-fi thing. It's actually a little bit like Shatter Me, I think, from memory. For over 2.5 years, subject 684, Jane Doe, has been locked away and experimented on in a secret government facility called 𝓤𝓲𝓷. In that time, she hasn't spoken a single word. Yeah, feels a bit like Shatter Me. As Jane's resolve begins to crack under the influence of her new and unexpectedly kind evaluator, she uncovers the truth about 𝓤𝓲𝓷's mysterious program, discovering that her own secret is at the heart of a sinister plot. Desperate to save her friends and the rest of the world from the looming danger, Jane must first question everything she has ever believed, especially when long-lost memories begin to surface and the mysteries of her past continue to grow. Allies become enemies and enemies become allies, leaving her certain only about one thing: one wrong move, one wrong word could change the world. So, yeah, I'm going to give the first book a go. I really like the way this author writes, so I'm hopeful that despite it not being my favourite genre, that I will enjoy it. Oh, I forgot to say with this one, it also will fulfill the N-author prompt in my A to Z author challenge. I haven't got a book for N yet, so now I do. So my friends and I have been going back and forth over what does magic realism really stand for. We have been reading up definitions because I don't really feel like I've ever done this prompt properly. For me, my understanding is a very loose one, and it's that it is a real world and then magic is infused into the everyday life. So it's quite normal that people can have magic in this world, and it's not frowned upon in a way that it would be strange if suddenly our lives were changed by people with magic all of a sudden, if that makes sense. We've also found that it's like another style of writing, and to just end the conversation over it, we've all just agreed that I can read this book for it. Next year, my friend and I, who helps me with the prompts, we've just decided that we're just going to put the word magic instead of magic realism. And any book that's got some magic in it can be the one that fulfills the prompt. So that's what we're going to go with. This one is Threadneedle, and it's by Carrie Thomas. It is the book of the month that I have to read for November. And it is about magic, and on the back here it has a different synopsis than what it has on Goodreads. It says Anna's aunt has always warned her of the dangers of magic. It twists, it knots, its deadly consequences. Now Anna counts down the days to the ceremony that will bind her magic forever until she meets Effie and Attis. They open her eyes to a London she never knew existed, a shop that sells memories, a secret library where the librarian feeds off words, a club where revellers lose themselves in the haze of spells. But as she is swept deeper into this world, Anna begins to wonder if her aunt was right all along. Is her magic a gift or a curse? So this is definitely magic based. And I think it sounds pretty good. I don't have high hopes for it. It is a big book, actually. It's 500 and... gosh... how many pages was that? 555 yeah, 555. So it is a pretty decent book. I know a friend that's read it and didn't really enjoy it. Like, she just said it was okay. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to get through it. It is the book of the month book. I did DNF one already this year, so I have every intention, if I don't enjoy it, to DNF, but it is the book that I've chosen for magic realism. It is more of an urban fantasy, but this is where I find the struggle between magic realism and urban fantasy, because it's very similar. It's magic in our world, and I know it's more like a surreal type of writing experience, more fantastical rather than a realism way of writing, but it has morphed over the years, hasn't it? So I don't know. Next year we're just going to have magic. I'm going to pretend that it says just magic right now. This book has magic. I need to read it this month, and that is what I'm going to do. And the final prompt is romance, and this is a book that I started earlier in the year and I have yet to finish. I am being very loose with this. This is Charlie Love and Clichés by Ella Mays. It was a book club read for the Romance Book Club, and I gave up on it pretty quick. I think I only read day 1. I was on day 2's reading. I'm halfway through. So I'm going to pick it up again and see if I can finish it. If not, it is getting unhauled at the end of the year. So yeah, this book is set in an office. It's a workplace romance, and the main characters have met in the past and they thought they would never cross paths again, and now he is working for her company, and her company is run by her father, so it's a family business for her, and she is always trying to work hard to impress her father and is now under the guidance of the main male character, and that has caused some shift for her. But it also feels very much all over the place, if I'm honest. So I'm going to try and read a little bit more, and if I DNF it, I have plenty of audiobooks on my library Libby app that are romance based, so I know I will definitely cover this prompt. And then 2 more books, though I've only got 1 book so far. The other one has to still be released, but I am reading A Curse for True Love in November, and I'm being so patient because I really want to pick it up and read it right now. Like, I could open it right now. I've even been so good to not even look at spoilers. I'm really notorious for looking at spoilers, but I don't want to know, and I haven't looked at the back page, nothing like that. This is the 3rd book in Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. If you've been around long enough, you know she's one of my favourite authors. Case in point, this month's theme is Caraval, so that's the book series before this one. It's the companion series. I'm really excited. Book 1 and 2 were my top reads for 2021 and 2022 respectively, so this one is looking like the only book that's going to take on Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and have the ability to take it down. I have high hopes for this. I'm just really excited to read it. I love Jax, I love Eva, though it's just a magical world. I love the way that this author has written this book and this series, so I'm really excited. I have stupidly decided to wait for my friends, so we're going to read it together, which, don't get me wrong, absolutely loved doing that last year. I read Ballad with a Friend and we had the most amazing time doing it, and this year I'm actually reading it with a couple of friends. Yeah, I think we'll be doing it a different way. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but really excited to read it, and I cannot wait to pick it up and be as stunned as I was at the end of Ballad last year. This has been a long time coming, and I've got my hidden cover copy coming from the UK, so I am very, I have a shelf dedicated to this book series, so if that doesn't say how much I've been waiting for this book, I don't know what will. I'll stop gushing about it now. I'm definitely reading this next month, or in November. And then the last book that I don't have a copy of, but I suppose I could grab the first book. Here we go, I've got a placeholder for it. So I am going to be reading book 2 in the series of the, what is it, the Imperium? Is that what it's called? I think it's something like that. Book 2, The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros is called Iron Flame. Me and a bunch of friends read this for book club in July, and we absolutely adored it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's not a literary masterpiece by any means, but it's very addictive, and I cannot wait to continue on and see where it heads. A bunch of my friends and I are going to read Iron Flame together as well, so I definitely know I'm reading it in November as soon as we get our copies. Being in New Zealand, we tend to get our copies later than most other people. Just is how it is. We're normally at least a week behind, so I'm hoping that won't be the case this time around and that we can all get a copy quite quickly. We actually pre-ordered Curse and there wasn't enough to distribute around on the day that it released here in New Zealand. It was supposed to release next week on the 31st, but it did release on time here, but they weren't prepared for it and our pre-order got cancelled. So I have a special edition of Iron Flame coming, but I don't have the paperback, so I'm hesitant to pre-order a second time and get it the same situation happen again. I'm hoping I can just walk into a store and pick one up, but we will have to see how that goes. This is a world full of dragons and set in a war academy, for this one at least, where our unlikely main female character, who has some health conditions and is very described as frail, undergoes a journey to be trained at this war academy. She wanted to be a scribe but ends up being put into the role of dragon rider, and she goes on quite a journey, and now we're at a point where the political storyline that she knew to be true has been rocked, and she's learning all about the rebellion and, well, will be learning all about the rebellion in the next book. I don't want to say too much. I think most people have read this book who read fantasy, but yeah, just don't want to be too spoilery. So yeah, picking up Iron Flame, that's the last one that I want to add to my TBR. I know I haven't finished my TBR in full because each month I tend to put down 8 books, but I think I'll just go with the ones that I've got here. How many have I got? 1, 2, I've got 7, so you know, I'm one off. I'm sure I'll be able to find a book that I want to add to the list at some point for that, but we'll just see how we go. I always find it funny trying to do these like outros on my desk because the camera is literally like a hand, it's like a hand width higher than where these books finish, so I can never get them in the full shot this way. But thank you so much for spending some time with me today as we go through my November TBR hopefuls. Like I said, I'm not sure how the readathon's going to go. I'm hoping that these books will also work for prompts for that, but I don't really have as much information as I would like to going into November. As a planner, it would be nice to have had at least a couple of the prompts first before the 1st of November, but I understand how one of these readathons is working. So yeah, otherwise for the actual TBR game, I am really happy with the prompts that I got, and how I'm going to use the books that I've chosen for them. I'm looking forward to a good month for November, especially hoping to finish the entire game for the next month, and finish all 5 prompts. I'm pretty confident that I can. If I DNF this one, I'm sure I'll be able to find another book that loosely fits my belief of magic realism. Otherwise, I'm just going to cross out the word realism, and then I've got one that's got magic in it already sitting here. So it is what it is. I think we'll definitely be looking at some of the prompts that we've been putting in for the TBR jar, and next year when we go to play it again, we'll change some of them to better suit our needs. It's not meant to be a hard thing to do or find a book for. It's meant to just guide it. So I think we need to tailor it just a little bit further for ourselves. But other than that, thank you again so much for spending some time with me today. I am really looking forward to another month of reading. October has been great, and until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.